whichever it may be. We are midweek, at least mid-work week. We're not totally midweek, are we? It's mid-work week. Just in case you don't know, this reading is from the Science of Mind magazine, The Daily Guides. And it's coming to you courtesy of Creative Life Spiritual Center, wherever you happen to be receiving this medium, whatever source you're using right now. And it goes out to a whole bunch of different sources. We're not here to sell you anything. We are here just simply to help you feel better, sometimes understand things better, just in general to uplift you. Somewhere around about early evening, you can never tell. I'm supposed to come on at 5 o'clock Central. Sometimes technology is kind of wacky, which it was tonight. It was misbehaving itself. So anyway, here we are finally. The writer for this month is a religious science practitioner. His name is Eugene Holden. This is what he has to say for Wednesday, the 12th of February, 2025. He says, "From the one come the many." And the first quote is from the Katha Upanishads. The Upanishads are sacred literature from Hinduism. They're quite well known. They followed the Vedas. The Vedas were the earlier ones. The Upanishads came later, more or less. And this is what the Katha Upanishad says. The ruler supreme, inner self of all, capital S, multiplies his oneness into the many, or if you like, his oneness into the many. Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind in Creative Mind, says, "The time is at hand. We are in the greatest age of all history. We are in the age of the unifying of all people and all things into the, quote, ever-present one." And that's all capitalized. Well, let's see where this takes us. This is Eugene Holden. He says, there are between 40 and 50 trillion cells in the human body. And today's estimates are that each cell contains approximately 20 to 25,000 genes. This is in one human body. He goes on to say, if we're not in awe, then we're not paying attention. All of these genes and cells come from the one source, capitalized, the infinite intelligence from which all things are created. All these genes and cells communicate with each other. Why? For the sole purpose of making sure that our bodies function just as they should. He then asks, well, what am I getting at? There are 8.2 billion people in the world right now. We all come from the same source. As such, we are all connected. All of this one, and out of this one, all life manifests. We're all related by the same divine mind. That same divine mind that created the heavens and the earth and all in between. How can we not be interconnected when everything is sourced by the same thing? Excuse me, I don't know why I'm yawning. We're all called to open our eyes, to see past the seeming differences and embrace the truth that we are truly one. Yes, we look different. Yes, we speak different languages. We even believe and worship differently. But that's the beauty of this thing called life. We get to accept these differences and see how very much alike we really are. In the last couple of days, at least, we've been focusing on the fact that there's one source for everything. And because there's one source for everything, then everything is interconnected. So that this view of the universe, which is what Science of Mind, religious science subscribes to, which is part of the philosophy I subscribe to, that which all the mystics of the ages have subscribed to, and certain parts of different religions. For instance, a good chunk of Hinduism would subscribe to this theory as well. And as I said, all the mystics, including the Christian mystics. And that theory is this, that there's one source for everything. That there is one universal intelligence that from which everything came and in which everything lives and moves and has its being. And it's got a couple of, it's called monism, M-O-N-I-S-M. It's also called panentheism. You don't have to remember these terms. It simply means that there's one and it produced everything. And if it produced everything and everything exists within it, then that means that everything is interconnected because it exists within one supreme intelligence. So that's what he's really getting down to here, that if we're all from one source and we're all within that one source, then by definition everything is connected. What does it mean though in practical? Well, it means that everything we do impacts everything else in some large or small way, and we've been saying this on and off, well, for a long time, and especially in this month's readings. So what does it tell me personally? It tells me that I need to be careful about my thoughts and my feelings, because my thoughts and my feelings are connected to everybody else's, and therefore they have an impact on everybody else. So it tells me in my spiritual life, I need to develop that knowingness that everything's interconnected, feel that interconnection, and also behave in a way that supports all of life. Now, this is not a view for everybody. There's lots and lots of different views. There are lots of different ideas about how the universe came into being. As we mentioned before, right now, we think it was the Big Bang. Is that the main reason? Is that the only way it came about? As far as we know right now, yes, but is that what science will tell us forever? We don't know, do we? Because it's forever developing. You know, there's lots and lots of cosmology. The cosmology is an explanation of how things came into being. And there's lots of cosmologies out there. Some of them are very simplistic and others are incredibly complicated. And some derive their way back to the Big Bang. But as I said, the whole premise is that there is an intelligence behind this Big Bang. And that intelligence is not only behind it, but it encompasses everything. So the difference between monism and monotheism, which is belief in one God, well, both viewpoints believe in one God. The difference is that in monotheism, there is a divine source of everything that created everything outside of itself. But in monism or panentheism, that one source created everything within itself. Why? Because that's all there was, and it was everything. It was all there was. So if it's all there was and it created everything, then by definition, it had to create it within itself. It couldn't do anything else because that's all there was. So that's a brief explanation. And as I said, what it means to me is that, you know, we're all connected and everything we do, say, and feel impacts everyone and everything else in some way, either infinitesimal or big. So we do our spiritual work and we try to make the world a better place. And we expand our own spiritual growth as well. So that is all I've got to say about that. Let me see. The class started yesterday that I'm helping teach, the Trance Scarcity. We had a great class and it will continue next week. And you can still join. You can still join the class. 832-271-0717. That's my text number, at least for business. 832-271-0717. Text me or email me at D as in David, B as in Barbara, our last name Dewhurst, DEWHURST at Comcast.net, and get the details. So, Reverend Lisa will be back tomorrow morning at 9:15-ish. I'll be back tomorrow reading more from Eugene Holden, somewhere around about 5 o'clock tomorrow evening. And with that, I'm going to say adieu. Please, please take care of yourselves and do that before you take care of anybody else, because you need to be on solid ground before you start looking after others. So until next time, truly, truly, namaste.